You're listening to Appalachia Radio, an enduring source of happiness in a sometimes unbelievable world. Whether Appalachia has always been your home or you're a more recent arrival, this next song is for you.
I got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Got the string around my finger. What a world, what a life, I'm in love. I got a song that I sing, I can make the rain go anytime I move my finger. Lucky me, can't you see, I'm in love. Life is a beautiful thing as long as I hold the string. I'd be a silly so-and-so if I should ever let you go. I got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Got the string around my finger. What a world, what a life, I'm in love. Life is a beautiful thing as long as I hold the string. I'd be a silly so-and-so if I should ever let you go. I got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Got the string around my finger. What a world, what a life, I'm in love.
That song is just so timeless.
All right, welcome back to another camp build here in Fallout 76. I am Fuzzbrain, and this is my take on an Appalachia Radio build. So this is kind of the culmination of a 6-part series I did where I went through everything front to back, including location, selecting a location, determining the layout, building the tower, building out the interior, the garden, and then all the decorations. So if you haven't checked that out yet, definitely go check it out, especially if you're kind of curious about how I did anything here. It's all documented and there for you to see. And I try to give tips and stuff on how I did it and like why I did it. And so hopefully it's helpful. The people that have watched it so far, I think have enjoyed it. So give that a shot if you're kind of curious about anything I've done here. With that being said, let me kind of walk you around. Like I said, this is an Appalachia Radio build. And so the thinking was that this was going to be a place where Julie would live and, you know, theoretically be self-sufficient and really enjoy her time here. And so the idea was, we know she came from somewhere else, I forget where exactly, but she came and fixed up the radio station and is now broadcasting out Appalachia Radio. And so we are here in the forest. On this little switchback here, there's a radio tower. So we're just west of Anchor Farm. I don't know, my controller joystick sucks. And just northwest of Vault 76. So there's this big radio tower that's here already pre-existing. So we just basically build around that. But unfortunately, you can't build here in adventure mode, so I'm in a custom world. But I just felt it was too good of a location to pass up for this build. So here we are. Maybe eventually someday Bethesda will open it up to building in adventure mode, but until then, it's unfortunately only available in custom. So, all right, here we go. So to begin, I have a little Brahmin here, and I put up a little bit of a lean-to for him or for her to eat and kind of chill under, so she doesn't get too sunburned. I give her some water using this junkyard fountain she can drink out of. And it's really cool because this area already has this path leading up, because it's, like I said, it's a pre-existing location. So it already has this path leading up to it, and it works really well as like kind of a nice barrier for the little garden over here. And so let me walk you through the garden. So I did a couple things here. First off, you might notice I put a bunch of these boards down, and they're kind of leading back to these chickens. Part of the build series was I put up a question in one of the videos to help me name the chickens. And so on the left here we have Beelzebub, and on the right here we have Peri Peri. And so they're our little resident chickens. And they're so cute and adorable, aren't they? Okay, so these steps, so how I did that was I merged the benches, or not the bench, yeah, the bench, these wooden benches down onto playing cards, and put them under and they fit under the ground there. You can kind of see some of the playing cards here. If you weren't looking for them, you probably couldn't tell, but not everything was able to be hidden underneath the ground. So it's just one of those things, you have to deal with. But I have some corn over here. I have my new fermenting station, so she can make some moonshine, whatever she's got to make. Some tomatoes, or potatoes. And then some planters here, and all I did really, I just kind of merged all these various plant items down into this barrel, and then merged the barrel down into the ground as well, so it kind of sunk down a little bit. And it turned out really well. Over here, I placed down some of the gourds, but then I also merged some pumpkins together, and all I did there was I just merged 2 pumpkins down of the same exact pumpkin and flipped them around so you couldn't see the carvings. And so it kind of looks like they are, ripe pumpkins for the picking here. It's kind of weird that we don't have pumpkins as a food resource that we can plant in our camps, but I mean, I think that's probably part of the reason why they want us to go to the pumpkin house all the time for those dailies. Back here I just have more hay and my butterfly sanctuary over on this side, which I think is really cool. I merged that down into the ground just a little bit so that it wasn't sitting up, floating a little bit, but I think it works really well. Cool. All right. So I'll walk around here, actually. So if you watched the build series, you probably noticed that I had a lot of different ideas and issues with this fence area. It was pretty tough. So even though I'm in a custom world, I set all of my build restrictions to how they would be in Adventure. So same budget, same build restrictions, all that kind of stuff, because I wanted to make it as authentic as possible. So what I ended up doing was using this, I think these are the Wavy Willards brick walls, or brick fences, and I just kind of merged some of the junk fences into them to kind of give it a nice look. So in general, the theme and the kind of vibe I was going for was I wanted to kind of match the KMAX station that's over in the mire. And so in the first episode of the build series, I went and I looked through, the KMAX station to get some ideas, and figure out what I wanted to do decoration wise and layout wise and everything. And that had kind of a brick fence, or like a concrete wall all around it as well, with barbed wire, but I wasn't able to kind of make barbed wire work. So my best alternative was these junk walls. Around the corner here, I did have a Collectron, and we have a dead mongrel here. I did have a Collectron here, but I took him out so he wasn't yapping the whole time I was doing this tour. This box thing is here. This is open, but I did put a fence here, so you can't get through. So this whole thing is kind of blocked off. My one generator, my single generator, is this solar panel here, and that's kind of hidden away. And a lot of the wires are not hidden necessarily, but they're all kind of, they make sense, and that's what I wanted out of this. was for the whole thing to just kind of make sense. And so I think I did a pretty good job. So back here this is one of those UFO sighting signs. I just merged it down using one of those Nuka-Cola trinkets you can see down there. And it works really well to kind of like shore up the fence. And I finally got some of these satellite dishes from the Atom Shop, and thought they would be a really good addition here. Obviously, we don't really have many options in that regard, so they're pretty much all I could use outside of the big like SETI, like galactic radio dishes that are huge, but yeah, so cool. And yeah, like I said, I wanted it to mimic kind of the KMAX station that we saw before, so that's kind of what I did. So it's all I went with kind of like a slight overhang roof and brick all around. This fan's pretty cool. I merged it into the wall a little bit, and you can see in the build tutorial I did how I did that. I also used the smoke machine here to kind of give it a look similar to the KMAX station. The KMAX station has a bunch of panels like that with grating around it for like ventilation and stuff, and so I kind of used that to mimic the same kind of vibe. Cool. And what I did here was I merged some of these plans down onto some playing cards and then just placed them over there. Anytime you put something under the ground, it'll be fine. You can't really do that on foundations though, which kind of sucks. Right over here, I just have a couple workbenches, only because I would think that Julie would be tinkering and working on the radio station itself, kind of building it up and maintaining it, so she would need a tinker workbench and potentially a weapons workbench too, because she's, probably packing, because there's, you never know, mongrels and stuff about, so you gotta keep yourself safe. But yeah, not too much in here. Just slightly decorated. Like I said, this is that UFO sighting sign, or crash site. Just kind of boarded that up. So yeah. And you didn't really need a lot of stuff in here either. It's not a lot of room anyway, so I didn't want to do too much in there. Cool. Workbench here. Nothing too crazy. You've probably seen some of that before. Out here is the little patio area where you can kind of look out across the valley. It's gorgeous views. Yeah, so I just kind of did a lot of kitchen-y stuff here. I have the table here where you can kind of prep and eat dinner. Chopping block here where Julie's chopping up all her veggies for cooking. Yeah. Oh, this is one of those new like tincture bottle things I think we got from Halloween. It kind of looks like olive oil or like some sort of oil, so I'm using that here. It kind of looks like cooking oil from a distance. So doing that there. I think it works pretty good. Always need a coffee machine. I'm a melee build, so I always need that for that AP. So yeah, pretty basic. So let's go inside. So in here is the actual studio, transmission station, all that kind of good stuff. So I set it up so that you've probably seen some of my other tutorials and videos where you don't always want to just put everything like immediately around the walls. So when you walk in, it's good to have something to kind of like force you to go in a direction. So that's what I did here. I just put her desk here, and so this is where she kind of sits and works, as you probably saw in the intro. So she sits and works here, which I think is a pretty cool spot, typing on the computer and coming up with ideas for new songs or new intros, new bits, all that kind of stuff. Cool. Just a little living area, and this shelf here, just a lot of stuff that she would probably find, or like stuff she's working on. So like she's working on that radio transmitter thing, and there's her toolbox and that sort of stuff. So I'm just trying to fill it up with kind of stuff that makes sense with the theme. Little TV. In her bedroom, I also try to keep it a little simple and decorate it kind of how I think she would decorate it. So I'm using another one of those little tincture bottles or serums or whatever. It kind of looks like a perfume bottle, so I thought that was kind of a cool idea. Otherwise, just kind of lightly decorated, but I think it gives off like really cool vibes. I'm finally able to use one of those pumpkin lanterns. I think it goes really well here. It gives a really nice glow if you haven't used them yet. Okay. And so here's the studio. So I really just kind of built this out like I would assume. Well, in the KMAX station, there's a bunch of these terminals, and so I kind of mixed and matched them with the thinking that Julie was kind of going out around the wasteland and finding different modules that she could use, like maybe replacing them, like old broken ones that had, kind of died or, are past their prime sort of thing. And so, and then just try to fill it up with stuff that I think would make sense. So, we got this, I think that's the, oh my god, the name escapes me, the GEC machine, or the GEC case. It kind of looks like something that she would use to fix or test circuitry, that kind of stuff. I have another one of these little things down here. And thankfully, if you have two of them in your camp, only one of them makes noise. So I'm using this speaker, one of those like defensive speaker things, as a microphone. I thought about like jazzing it up a little bit, or using the Raider Punk thing, but ultimately I just decided not to. I didn't want him kind of lurking around here. It wouldn't make sense. So ultimately I just went with that instead. But yeah, and then I have this going, so this is like a little on-air tower. And I'll show you that in a second. I'll go up on the roof and show you that. But it's basically like when she can turn the switch on and she's broadcasting, and then that'll flip a switch to turn the light on up on the roof. So I'll show you that in a second. This was something you saw in the intro. I merged this Hollywood gramophone down into this console, so to make it look like it was kind of part of the whole system, like it's been around for a long time. And so this is what they used to play records, whereas like these other things they used to play like holotapes and that sort of stuff. And theoretically, this shelf would be used for all the holotapes that she has, like playing all the different holotapes, but we don't have a holotape asset, Bethesda, so it'd be great if we did have some that we could place in our camp, but we don't, but whatever. And then I put these little trophies up, or awards, with the thinking that this KMAX station received some awards, pre-war that were on display here, so she keeps them on display, that sort of thing. Cool. So yeah, that's basically it. Oh, yeah, and so I did mention that this was KMAX. So my kind of logic or headcanon here is that this is actually a KMAX station, and so I have the KMAX lettering up there. I did think about putting KMAX up in a couple of places, but it just, I don't know. I didn't have the letters to kind of make it look right. Like all I really had left to use was the Greek letters, and they didn't really fit the theme very well. Okay, so this thing, like I said, this was kind of like that transmission. You turn it on and it's showing that you're broadcasting. It's like turns this light on theoretically. The light turns on anyway because it's powered, but I did merge that little safe down in there to make it look like it's a like a piece of the roof, like it was actually connected and built into the roof itself. And I merged this lamp, this lamp, Nuka-Cola lamp that we got a couple seasons ago, down into this pyrotechnic kit to make it look like it's all kind of like cobbled together. That, you know, like I said, Julie was kind of fixing this place up, and she probably didn't have a ton of resources, so she's just kind of like putting a bunch of stuff together to see if it works. So that's kind of the idea. So yeah, that's the build. Really a ton of fun to put together. And when you do theme builds like this, it's like, it's actually less challenging in a way, because you kind of limit yourself to certain items, like using certain items and certain themes and stuff like that. So it was really awesome. Like I had a great time putting all those other videos together. So if you haven't yet, like definitely go check those out. If you're curious about how I did anything, it's all documented. It's all right there. And yeah, like if you want to see more videos like this, or I guess more build tutorials and stuff like that in the future, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this build and, you know, seeing this theme, and because I haven't really seen many builds like this before, Appalachia Radio builds anyway, I would love to hear what you think. Like, let me know. That'd be awesome too. So with that being said, like I said, really appreciate you watching. Have a great week. And if you haven't yet, like, subscribe. That'd be fantastic. Like the video, all that kind of stuff. It really helps the channel. And thank you so much to everyone who already has subscribed. It means so much. So thanks again. I will talk to you later. Have a great one.